With only a sling and a handful of rocks, David stood before the giant warrior, Goliath. Hands steady, he drew back the sling and fired, killing Goliath with a single shot. This is the true story of how a shepherd boy defeated one of the most feared warriors in history. David lived a peaceful life as a shepherd, caring for his sheep. However, the threat of war was never far away. Philistine forces had gathered in Ephes Dammim. The only thing keeping them at bay was the Israelite army, led by King Saul. The Philistine army stood on one hill, and the Israelites made camp on the other. Between the two armies was a valley where the battle would occur. But someone was stopping the Israelites from rushing into the fight. A giant named Goliath. At 9 feet tall, he towered over the Israelites. His weapon of choice was a huge iron spear. Standing alone on the battlefield, Goliath challenged the Israelites to send out a warrior to face him. If the Israeli warrior beat him, the Philistine forces would become their servants. But if Goliath won, the Israelites would become slaves to the Philistines. With the stakes so high and the challenger so fearsome, the Israelites trembled. No one dared to step out of line and take Goliath on. This continued for 40 days. David became sick of listening to Goliath's vile mockery of the Lord's army. So, he decided to do something about it. David approached Saul, begging the king to let him fight. But the leader refused, pointing out that David was only a weak shepherd boy, while Goliath was a seasoned warrior. David, though, wasn't fazed. He defended his sheep from bears and lions, wrestling them with his bare hands. His faith in the Lord had protected him from those predators, and he was sure that God would also protect him from Goliath's wrath. Though Saul had given him a bronze helmet, David found it too uncomfortable, so he took it off, approaching Goliath without any armor. The only things he had to protect himself were a sling and a handful of river rocks. As Goliath approached, David drew a rock into the sling and fired. The projectile sailed through the air and struck Goliath in the forehead, instantly killing the formidable giant. Then David unsheathed Goliath's sword and cut off his head. Seeing their slain hero, the Philistines fled. But this isn't just an interesting story. It contains an important lesson for modern Christians. Today, it can be easy to feel as though you are facing an unwinnable battle. Perhaps you might be having financial troubles or facing mental health issues, but there's no reason to give up. This story reveals that God can use adversity to train us for bigger battles. A bear or lion taking David's herd would have seemed awful at the time, but they turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Fighting the bears and lions proved to David that he was a strong warrior and gave him the confidence to take on Goliath. The takeaway for modern Christians is clear. As long as you continue to have faith, nothing can stand in your way.